wish all. Into my mind.
He is a victim.
It's kind of like I don't have to lip sync that because it's our song, so I can sing along with myself and I'm harmonizing. Can you feel the harmonies, Mike?
It sounds very good.
What's that?
It sounds very good, except when Riverside doesn't sync it up right. Every now and then that
motherfuckers
happens. That's gonna not happen anymore. Tony assures me with my new system we're going to be in a lot better shape. I'll have better internet. We're gonna have professional gear on a budget. On a budget.
On a budget.
That's kind of a funny story because he asked me what my budget was and I told him what the number was, and that's between me and you and him and anybody else I want to, but not the general public.
Sure.
But he said, phew, I thought you were going to say like $800. I said, you remember us as starving artists, right?
Yeah.
You know, the last time I knew him, I didn't have a nickel to my name. So things have changed since then, thankfully.
Right. We have all been there and done that.
Oh, yeah.
You have not lived your life if you haven't been poor and struggling and holy shit, how do I make this happen? And, you know.
Correct.
It's just part of the life culture.
And if you were in a rock band and you were not broke, you did something wrong, right?
You did do something, absolutely.
I guarantee you your music sucked.
You know, yeah, you know,
a lot of our desperation came from
you were broke,
having to get the next gig and having to be better than the band before us or after us, or our whole goal was world domination and blow the next band off the stage.
Basically just right, which was always the idea, which was always the concept. You had that mindset. You always have to have, I think, as a musician or an artist in general, an actor, whatever, you always have to have that mindset in my eyes that you are better than the whoever is coming on before or after you. Because if you don't have that mindset, why are you on stage? Why are you
bingo,
putting forth your efforts in life if you don't have that? Yeah. And it's not an ego, right? It's confidence. You got to have that confidence, because at the end of the day, if you don't, why are you fucking here? And that goes with any job. Right? It goes with real estate. It goes with attorneys. It goes with doctors, lawyers, all that kind of shit. So you were going to ask me a couple things. I'm reminding you.
Yes. So
about a book or something.
Yeah. I just got done reading/listening to like 100% listening to.
Right.
I discovered that if you pay for Spotify, you get audiobooks for free. So it opened up a whole new universe to, learning things and reading/listening to people's memoirs. So I'm like 15 minutes away from finishing Steve Gorman from the Black Crowes. The book is called...
Okay, no, wait, who's Steve Gorman and the Black Crowes? What is it?
He was the drummer.
No, but who's Steve Gorman? All I know...
He's the founding member of the Black Crowes.
All I know is the brothers.
Yeah, so he's the third founding member of the Black Crowes. Yeah,
I did not know that.
It was the two brothers and Steve formed that band.
Okay.
So
he's not in the band anymore?
Oh no. It's if anybody is interested in that kind of thing, which I know you watch a lot of documentaries, and a lot of people like to dig all the way down and find out, especially for me, that band never wrote a bad song. There are no bad Black Crow songs. They just don't exist. somehow they found a way to make every song not suck. That's a talent. I'm not sure I can say that about any other band except maybe Led Zeppelin.
Well, what about Creedence? John Fogerty.
CCR had some clunkers along the way. They did. Their hits are hits, man.
Okay.
But I do not have every CCR song saved in my playlist.
Yeah, I don't either.
About 60%.
Maybe I was thinking more of the fact that he. Yeah, I was probably thinking more of the fact that he just ripped off all those hits one after one when the label told him he had to do something.
So,
but you're right. Yeah. Okay. I go back to your thought.
To span an entire 30-year career, and they just released an album in March of this year, and there's still no clunkers. Right. Every song on the album kicks ass. It has a purpose.
Nice.
Without Steve being there, it's different, but it's good. So he left the band in.
Yeah.
I think it was somewhere around 2015, maybe.
Okay.
So maybe a little before that. But one of the things that fascinated me is obviously the music was never the problem in that band, right? They kicked ass. And he admits throughout the whole book. No. Yeah. Music was just like us. Yeah. Music was never the problem. We could get up there and kick ass. We could improvise. We could do whatever needed to be done. Right. That was the difference in them and any other band that struggled musically is they had their shit together as players. They all made basically a verbal / kind of almost just everybody just knew you had to be able to get up there and play, right? There was no ifs, ands, or buts about that in the beginning. Then money and ego ruined everything. So
and drugs.
A lot of drugs. A lot of But really chemicals. It came down to
chemicals always come into play and fuck with shit.
It does. But
yeah.
That happened in Led Zeppelin too. There was a lot of chemicals in Led Zeppelin, but the way that I can't stress this enough to any young artist that's listening to this podcast now or in the future. If you want to be a band, there's a difference between being a solo artist, a band, and a group. They're three different things. Here's the difference. Obviously, a solo artist is me. It's the Mike Michaels experience, as Chris always wanted to make it, or whatever the hell he wanted to call it.
Right.
I'm by myself. Yeah. I get all the publishing.
Band,
I get all the touring money. And then I hire Chris and I say, I'll pay you $2,000 a show because I know your value for 200 dates. Whatever that comes out to. What is it? $144,000.
I'm down. Whatever. Let's go. I'm cool with that.
I'm not.
Okay, I'm cool. Let's go.
Here's the difference. Okay, so now option number 2 is we're a group. So now Chris and I formed Nemesis in 1994. It's 2024. Unfortunately, all our members are not still with us. If we wanted to go on tour, we would have to hire a drummer, right? Now he's a hired gun. We're a group. Me, you, and Rick are a group. We're still a partnership, right? That's what the Black Crowes were. They were a 3-way partnership forever until, shit went south. So then your third option is what we chose, to be a band. And a band is and should be, because it was good enough for Led Zeppelin, a 25% partnership. If you're 4 members, you split it further down if you got 5, 6, 7, but everybody equally is an equal partner. Right. Yeah. That's a band. We're all for one.
100%
one for all.
That is a band.
Yes.
One for all. Yep.
So unfortunately,
that's what pissed me off about the last band I was in because yeah.
No, go ahead, man.
Go ahead. Well, no, I was saying that's what pissed me off about the last band I was in because that if like I always had the mindset it's written by the band. Like that's how it should be. It's written by the band. You all bring something to the table. You all are feeding off each other's collective energy and you're inspiring one another, and the creative process is, You play that riff, holy shit, that riff's perfect, and the whole thing is cyclical. And the fuckhead, if he injected a line in a song, he decided he got to be able to say he wrote that song. Well, no, dude, we all wrote this song, even though 2 of the 4 members didn't really do any writing at all, right? As far as the original structure of it, to me, it was still, everything should have been in words and music, lyrics and music, whatever, by the band. And he just, as he, sits in his dark apartment, wallowing in his abandonment, you can't do that. I think that fucks with so many, it fucks with bands on such many different levels, because then you're saying to those other bandmates, well, you're just not good enough. I want you to play the drums and just shut the fuck up. Right. And we never had that mindset again. But I think that deteriorates.
So, let me ask you a question.
It erodes,
not to interrupt you,
the inner sanctum of that group. Yes. No, you're good.
Were you guys all present when you were writing those songs?
Go ahead.
Was everybody there contributing to what was going on?
No.
That makes a difference. That's where we were different. We didn't write songs without each other.
We weren't.
I mean, we did.
Exactly.
We wrote ideas. We didn't write songs without each other. We wrote ideas independent of each other and brought them to the table, and everybody worked it out together. Right?
Yeah.
That's still, Scott contributed his part. He arranged things. You contributed your part. You brought the melody and the lyrics.
Right.
Rick contributed his part in that I didn't write or play the bass line. All those things mean something. That's what I'm saying was,
right.
So did he tell everybody what to play?
Absolutely.
I'm fascinated.
Originally it was just he and I, and originally it was just he and I. So he had every intention of playing the bass and playing the drums as well. When Jesse came in, because Jesse's fucking badass. Jesse, just kind of took it to a whole new level, and I don't think he did anything that the other one told him to do or suggested he do.
Is that the guy I jammed
Same
with?
with Josh on the bass. I don't.
Oh no, I jammed with Josh.
You jammed with Josh, the bass player.
Okay. Yeah.
So Josh, I don't know how much of his influence was on Josh as far as what to play. Because once the other 2 kind of came into the mix, he and I had the foundation of stuff down, right? But as well as I do, it's different writing with just a guitarist. Once you bring in the drums and the bass, it evolves. Like Rick brought a whole new dynamic to our shit that I didn't think about at all. And then all of a sudden we start jamming when Rick became a member of the band, and like, holy shit, there's a whole nother dynamic of this bass line.
You know why?
And where he's going. I think there was a couple songs why?
Sting will tell you, of all people, it's not a chord until the bass player decides what note to play. And technically he's right. So why it changed for you is sometimes he would change what the chord meant to the melody, is what I'm trying to say. Right? So you would hear it one way when absolutely. It was just me and Scott, and then Rick would actually play like a third above it or a fourth below it or whatever the fuck you do.
Okay.
I only know enough music theory to get me in trouble. I just play, right? You know that. I know what the notes are. I know some scales. I know enough to get me in trouble. So I do know that when the bass player decides to not just follow the guitar, it totally changes what the melody means to the singer. I'm sure Tony could explain that in a way that people would go, wow, now there's a guy who understands music. I just play it, and hopefully people like it. But it's
true. It's absolutely true. Yeah. I mean, what Rick did, it did change the way I approach certain songs that we had already had written and were working on without the bass player. And it was a nice dynamic. It was a nice thing to bring to the table. Nothing changed in my last band when the bass and the drums came in from a lyrical or melody standpoint, because it just didn't.
Josh was a badass too. Is a badass. They're not dead. We're just not jamming anymore.
Right. No, he's definitely Definitely a good dude. I mean, and I liked. It's kind of like what Nikki said. The best band I was ever in, as far as the core of people and the mindset and the relationships and the friendships and all that kind of jazz, was Nemesis. She could tell that nothing else that I ever touched was anywhere in comparison to it at all. And when we came back from Sturgis, while we were at Sturgis, half of the band wanted to quit, and it wasn't because of me. When we came back from Sturgis, a fourth of the band quit, and it wasn't because of me or the bass player. So about, I don't know, 5-6 months after Sturgis, that was just done. I was just done with the fucking petty ass bullshit, whiny crybaby, egotistical, just, you know, it's just, the fun left. And when the fun left, I left because I just wanted to jam. You know that when we played, I just wanted to jam. Anything that comes along with it, it was just kind of a bonus. I love being on stage. I love being in front of people. I love playing music. And I just, you know, it's one of those things. If you know, you look back on your life, it's like, what's the one thing you would change? We've said it before. We would have taken a break for 6 months so I could deal with what I had to deal with, and then kind of got back into the mix of things. But we just, you know, it is what it is. But that's one of the things. I don't have a lot of regrets in my life, but that's one of the things that's like, well, fuck, we should have just approached that differently, because who knows where we'd be now if we did. And that's, you know, that's the if, right?
Right.
That's just life. So, you know.
Or I thought of another scenario.
It's just one of those things, you know.
It would have been great if you would have just like called us up one day and said, "Hey man, I want to come back," because we would have taken you back in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And I should have, you know, and it was,
Scott's anger faded after a while. I could have just said, "Hey, you want to be famous or you want to just be fucking mad at him?" And that'd have been the end of it. You know?
Right?
Because he was the one that was pissed. I'm telling you right now, I had fucking talk him down off the ledge. He lost his mind because he knew we were fucked. Wow, I knew we were fucked too. He was only mad because
I never knew that. I never.
He knew where we were going. You know, we were talking to the guy, and all that shit was going down behind the scenes, and then it's like, whatever.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Sorry, Scott. Wherever you are, I'm sorry.
It's all
good. I didn't
good.
mean to piss you off, man.
It's all good. No, his anger faded over time. It just like knew what was coming and knew that we couldn't do that with. It took all four of us. You know, there was something, like I said a couple podcasts ago, there was just something magical about that time, and that group of four people in the same room. You know, there was something there.
Yeah. There was absolutely. That's why I'm still poking at Rick. Like, come on, dude, we got to do something. You know,
well,
just if anything, the old stuff. Anyway, let's stop dwelling on the past. I have a brilliant idea for today. So, you know, we were talking about No More Tears, right? And we did the little Ozzy stuff last show, and how No More Tears was like unbeknownst to you and I, right? Ozzy said it was about a serial killer. So did you listen to it or read the lyrics?
I did. I get it now.
Okay.
I never listened to it in that with that mindset before.
Right. So, boys and girls, light in the window is a crack in the sky, a stairway to darkness in the blink of an eye. A levee of tears to learn she'll never be coming back. Right there. Like the dude's fucking, she's never coming back, man. The man in the dark will bring another attack. Your mama told you that you're not supposed to talk to strangers. Look in the mirror. Tell me, do you think your life's in danger? Fucking brilliant, right? Another day passes as the night closes in. I gotta grab my vape. The red light goes on to say it's time to begin. I see the man around the corner waiting. Can he see me? I close my eyes and wait to hear the sound of someone screaming here. It's just a sign of the times going forward in reverse. Still he who laughs last. It's just a hand in the bush. So now that it's over, can we just say goodbye? I'd like to move on and make the most of the night. So he's killed this person. The person in the song has killed him. He wants to make the most of his night. Maybe a kiss before I leave you this way. Your lips are so cold because she's fucking dead. The corpse is rotting. I don't know what else to say. I never wanted it to end this way, my love, my darling. Believe me when I say it to you in love, I think I'm falling. So, right. So when I wrote Shadow by Your Side, we've talked about it, which I don't have the lyrics in front of me, but that was about the serial killer from the serial killer's point of view. And knowing now No More Tears is about a serial killer, that's kind of written from the serial killer's point of view as well.
Totally.
So that's a trip. So that got me thinking, well, what should we talk about today on the show? Well, how about a list of songs that reference serial killers?
Fascinating. Lay it on.
You know, why not? Why not? And there's a lot of them according to the Wikipedia, which we all know is true.
Oh, I have no doubt there are.
Right. So, let's see. So there's a song from the Susie and the Banshees called "An Execution."
Yep.
And some of these I've never heard before.
Shit, now I know.
A band called Evil. It's called "Bathe in Blood."
Don't know that one.
Band called Sunno. I don't fucking know that one either. I'm just trying to find people I know. There's got to be more. A band, Exodus. That was Kirk Hammett's first band, right? Exodus.
He was a founding member of that band.
Magnum Opus. Okay. Let's see. Flatbush Zombies. For some reason, that sounds familiar. Death 2. This is a trip. Hall & Oates, Daddy Doo-Wop, I Hear the Voices. That's about a serial killer.
That's surprising.
Cypress Hill, Insane in the Brain. I can see that. Beastie Boys, looking down the barrel of a gun.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm kind of scrolling through just to find people that stand out name wise. The Smiths, Suffer Little Children. The Sex Pistols, No One is Innocent. Lil' Kim, Black Friday. You know, Lil' Kim, the rapper chick, I think.
Yep.
Motley Crue, Just Another Psycho. Interesting.
No kid.
They have a new album. Cannibal Corpse, Stripped, Raped, and Strangled. You think? Theory of a Dead Man wrote a song called Ted Bundy. I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
I did not know that. Yeah, they're a they're a Canadian rock band from North Delta, British Columbia. They wrote a song called Ted Bundy. And then A Lot Like the Birds wrote a song called Ted Bundy's Thanksgiving Dinner. Jane's Addiction wrote Ted Just Admit It. So Ted Bundy was definitely somebody that people wrote about. There's a band on here, Church of Misery, that is all over the place. So they must be like Blood-Sucking Freaks, Red Ripper Blues. So they must be all about El Padrino, Candyman. So they must all be about serial killers and stuff. Eminem, Brainless.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the whole band was serial killers?
That would be right. And they would go every city they went to, people would disappear and shit, and then just kept moving so they couldn't catch them. Dude,
right. Then they wrote songs about it
there, man. Like you just took it. Right. So what, am I really write a song about me killing somebody, cop? Come on, man. I'm not that stupid. I'm in a band, man. It's for entertainment. Dude, that's brilliant, Mike. I always had this idea I'm not
sure that's a good thing.
It's just going to sound so fucking out there. This is going to sound so far out there in La La Land. So selling houses, right? So you sell a house you buy a piece of shit house for like $100,000, and then you fix it up. But when you're fixing it up, you line the interior of the walls instead of insulation. It's like the heroin or the weed or the cocaine, right? For the drug dealer. And then you get it for $100,000, then you remodel it and basically hide in the drugs, and you sell it to the drug dealer. Like the drug dealer sells it to the people who move the product for $500,000 or whatever the drugs are worth for the house itself, and it's a cash transaction, so no appraisal is needed. And then all of a sudden you're moving product without actually moving product because it's just built inside the house. And then people come over to visit for parties and shit, and they just leave with blocks of cocaine. That's my mind. That's the weird shit my mind does, dude.
That's why you and I get along so well.
Just craziness. Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the conversations that we would have when we weren't playing music, just so everybody knows.
Right.
Like, what if? Can you imagine?
Shit.
That's where I came up with the idea for everybody in the world to give me $1. And then GoFundMe came about. So fuck you guys. I invented GoFundMe like 28 years before you. All I needed was $1.
You know what? I just realized I was reading this wrong. So it has, okay, so Ted Bundy. Okay, so this list, it has Ted Bundy. And then it has every song that was written about Ted Bundy. Now it makes sense. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's got to be like 30 songs written about Ted Bundy.
Yeah, I don't know why I knew that.
Serial killer called Richard Chase. Because you're smart. You read shit. Dahmer has a lot. Wow. Fucking wow. Dahmer's got by far more than anybody else. I mean, Dahmer was the greatest serial killer of our time, if you can call him that, because it was more, darkness himself, cannibalism. But yeah, wow. Pearl Jam had a song called Dirty Frank that's about Dahmer. I didn't know that.
I did not know that either.
Wow. That's crazy, dude. Interesting. And then Albert DeSavo, the Boston Strangler, he's got 5 songs about him. Albert Fish, I don't know who Albert Fish is, but he's got quite a few songs about him. John Wayne Gacy, quite a few songs about him. Master of Brutality is one of them. That's interesting, man. So if you go to... Yeah, Jack the Ripper has quite a few songs about him, but I think Dahmer still has more than anybody from looking at... Edmund Kemper, that motherfucker was demented as hell. He doesn't have very many, but he's got some. Richard Ramirez. The boss. What the fuck was he? Who's that one in L.A.? Night Stalker. Night Stalker. Yeah, Night Stalker. He's got.
I knew it had night in there.
Song Snake Eyes and yeah, Night Stalker. So Marilyn Manson's song Snake Eyes and Sissies is about the Night Stalker. Eileen, remember Eileen, the most famous female serial killer? She's got about 10 songs about her. That's interesting. She doesn't get enough credit for, women serial killers are rare. I think she's the only one that's ever really been brought to the forefront.
They are rare. I forgot about her.
Yeah. Great movie too. If you haven't seen it, Arlene, what do they call it? What's her face played her? Not Ashley Judd. The other chick that looks like Ashley Judd, Charlize Theron.
Yes.
Great fucking movie. Yeah. Wow, that's a trip, man.
Yeah, she's number 1 on the list. And then the next 3 pictures are all black and white. So those 3 women were serial killers before there were colored pictures. So Eileen,
no shit. Okay.
Yeah, Eileen is the only modern day serial killer as a woman.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wait. I take that back. Dorothea Puente, she got busted in the 1980s.
Oh.
She was running a boarding house. How convenient.
That's the best way to do it, especially back then, right?
We're just going to put you up here. Yeah, we'll get you some fresh linens and whack your head off.
Exactly. Whack-a-mole. You know what they're remaking as we talk about killers and shit? They're remaking Misery with fucking Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. Like, seriously? You can't remake Misery,
I'm not watching that.
Like, what the fuck? It's fucking stupid. There's so many. I guarantee you there's more ideas out there in the world of movies to be made that you can make instead of remaking shit. Like, it's the dumbest thing. My book, Legend of Charles E. Lang, would be a fantastic movie because it's a great story and it would keep you entertained. But Clint Eastwood hasn't written me back yet, motherfucker. I know he's 93 and all, but it's like, come on, dude. Get your mail,
sure you're on the list.
Read the book and just call me. Like, was he going to live long enough to call me, though? The dude's fucking 93.
Clint's going to live forever.
I don't have his phone number.
they're going to figure out some kind of gene therapy. He's going to live to be 193, and that movie's going to get made. You just got to believe.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck might live forever.
I got to send it to more people.
How old's Chuck?
Yeah, I didn't even know how old Chuck is, but, you know.
I bet he's in his 80s.
Chuck Norris was, I don't know, man. Let's ask Siri. Okay, let's see. Hey, Siri, how old is Chuck Norris? Chuck Norris is 84. Good job, dude.
Look at me go. I just knew he was old when I was still young.
Years old.
And now I'm old.
He was born March 10th. He was born March 10th, 1940 in Oklahoma. He's only 5 feet 10 inches. He's worth $70 million as of 2019.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he is a badass for sure. Badass motherfucker.
I might be guilty of watching Walker, Texas Ranger episode or two.
Dude, I saw a billboard last week. There's a new Walker.
Yeah, fuck all that shit too.
Fucking stupid networks. And it's a cowboy. He's got a cowboy hat. He's got a beard. It's like, dude, it's Walker Texas. It's Chuck Norris. Just stop it. It's like they made a new version of Deal or No Deal, right? That Howie Mandel show, and Howie Mandel's producing it. Deal or No Deal Island.
I haven't watched that either.
Like, oh, we'll watch this. Fucking stupid, man. Don't watch it. It's stupid. We watched one episode. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch this. It's just it's fucking dumb.
Here's where I'm at.
The whole concept of Deal or No Deal was you're on a stage and you have these cases. Okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I want to know where you're at. I don't remember what my thought was going with. I just don't think they should remake shit. That's all.
The first Deal or No Deal was the bomb, man. Everybody watched it. It's just like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Now, they did remake Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Meredith Vieira or whatever, and it was a good show because they changed the format, they changed the time of day. It wasn't a primetime show anymore, if I remember right. I think it was on during the day. So, no, what I was going to say is that's what you have to do. If you're going to fuck with something that's legendary or close to legendary or the number one something forever, if you're going to redo that, you better either do it so differently that now it's art and people love it.
It stands on its own, right? And it stands on its own, right?
Yes. Or you just do the same thing somehow better, right?
Yes.
Putting cases on an island is not CGI, somehow better.
The technology and shit. No. And it's not even that, dude. It's so the only episode we watched is you got these people that show up, right?
Okay.
They get jeeped in and they're on this island, and then the helicopter's deployed, and then some chick in the helicopter's throwing cases out, and they're acting like, oh, we can see that's the $1 million case. Fuck you. You're all the way down there. You cannot look up and see this case has $1 million written on it. So that was
the amounts are written on the outside.
And so they throw the cases in the same. Some of them were as they were throwing them out of the helicopter. And there's a reason why, because they threw them all in the same spot. So I even told Nick, I'm like, well, that's fucking dumb. They're all in the same spot. Like, so the reason in the same spot is the entire spot was like quicksanded, muddy water and shit where as soon as you get into it, you sink. Your shoes, like, you're fucked. It's like that kind of mud. Like when I did Spartan race, it sucks. Like it's fucking terrible mud. As soon as you put your foot in it, you're just fucking stuck. Like just stuck. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So they have to get these cases out, which is maximum effort because it's just disgustingly muddy, wet, and so they're trying to get as many cases as they can. Each contestant gets a case, and then you open the case up. So then later in the show, when they play Deal or No Deal, every case that was grabbed is represented on the one side, and then on the other side you have the 0, 1 cent, $5, all the way up to $100 type thing, like they did on the real show. But then the kicker is everybody's playing to win the final episode, which means you win the accumulation of all the money that's won. So I like, you don't win. Only one person out of the 12, I think, that are on there wins. So it's basically nothing but a drama riddled, backstabbing, game to fuck everybody over, and you're the last man standing with what's, I don't know, $14-15 million at the end of the day, apparently. But Deal or No Deal, the whole concept was you individually were playing to win. This, you're playing against everybody to be the last one standing. And I just don't see how the dynamic of that's going to work out, because it's just fucking stupid.
Somehow you have a weird way of bringing me back. I'd like totally forgot what I was going to say, and you said one thing and I remember. It's like, oh yeah, no, I remember what I was going to say. Let's be honest. People watch the fucking show because Howie Mandel was one of the greatest game show hosts in the history of television. Right?
Absolutely.
That's why I kept tuning in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you had Howie
and the girls with the cases.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. It was a perfect format.
And you had Howie and 24 hot chicks. You had 24 models.
Amen.
Right. Yep.
Done. We got a show.
And it was on Thursday. It was on NBC Thursday nights, when NBC Thursday nights was something that people aspired to be present for. It was like a real live like version of what the fuck was Robert Palmer's video, Simply Irresistible. Those chicks.
Correct.
The band were chicks, right? The fucking that was like a TV show that you could like say, okay, you got one guy in a suit, Howie. Everybody else is decked out, fucking models and shit. One of the contestants on Deal or No Deal Island was a model girl. Like she's on the show. She's 50 now. She's like, I wanted to actually be on the show.
Well, that's
not
awesome.
Just opening cases. So that's kind of a cool dynamic. But there's some dude on there from I don't watch the Survivors and shit and all that kind of jazz. There's some dude on there from Survivor, and he's already game playing. And it's just it's drama, stupid drama. That's all. So don't remake shit. What else are they remaking? They're making a Lethal Weapon 5 coming out in 2025, I think, or 2024, which should be good. It could be good, It's been so long since the Lethal Weapon franchise, but I like those movies. I thought Lethal Weapon 1 was a great movie. It's
agreed. I think I actually liked them up to 4, and a lot of people jumped off the boat after 2. I remember liking 3 and 4, so they can go fuck themselves. I liked it.
I liked 1 through 3 for sure. Joe Pesci was hilarious. Number 4 kind of, I watched it. I didn't like, I could watch Lethal Weapon right now and be fine with it. I couldn't watch second, third, or fourth one. I'd lose interest, but
I could probably watch the third one again just because of Joe Pesci.
I'll watch Die Hard. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true, because Joe Pesci's fucking great in that movie. Just great. And the reference, the drive-through thing we use all the time, man.
Yes.
So yeah, I get that for sure.
And I'm the same way. I would watch Die Hard if it came on right now. I would watch My Cousin Vinny if it came on right now. Yeah. There's just certain Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. There's just certain movies I just cannot watch,
Yeah, that's a good one too. Remember Pump Up the Volume? That was a good one. I like that one. There's some obscure stuff that I've loved, like Emilio Estevez back when his beginning of his career. He used to
Young Guns.
He used to write and direct shit and star in it. Right, Young Guns was one, but this I'm talking further back. Like there's a movie called That Was Then, This Is Now. He was in it. Craig Sheffer was in it. Great fucking movie, and I can't find it anywhere. But
what's the one where him and
when that came on, when I was like,
Emilio Estevez were garbage men. That was a great movie too. I think that's early on in his career.
Men at Work. Charlie.
That was a great movie, dude.
Charlie Sheen. Emilio Estevez wrote that.
Right? That was Charlie one that Sheen and him and Emilio wrote it. That's right.
Started it.
Yeah, he was in it too. I thought he was in it.
Yeah, because Charlie and Emilio are. Yeah,
they're brothers. Right?
Charlie and Emilio are brothers.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And ironically, their real last name is Estevez. Martin changed his name from Martin Estevez to Martin Sheen. So when Charlie got into acting, instead of being Charlie Estevez, he's Charlie Sheen, and Emilio's like, "Fuck you, I'm Emilio Estevez,"
because it sounds cool. Charlie Sheen.
But it does
Martin
sound cool.
Sheen.
Well,
back then
I like Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, now Emilio Estevez sounds better because it's his real name.
Right. It's kind of like Michael Keaton had to change his name to Michael Keaton because his real name was Michael Douglas, and that wouldn't work because there was already Michael Douglas.
Well, that wouldn't make sense.
Did you know that?
I did not know that. You just
Beetlejuice
blew my mind. Oh yeah,
there's a new Beetlejuice coming out. Did you know that?
I did not know that, and I don't think I can watch that either.
And because
it looks good.
Well, but Tim Burton's doing it, and because Tim Burton's doing it, it's still within the wheelhouse of the right. It's still in the cookiness of it. Like like if Spielberg did it, like fuck you, dude. But Tim Burton's doing it, so it's going to have that same.
I'll watch
that same flow to it and that same weirdness. Yeah.
Yes, that's like they put the band back together.
Kind of like Roadhouse. Fuck you, Roadhouse.
Yeah, fuck that Roadhouse movie.
And Beetlejuice is free for real.
I will not watch the Roadhouse movie.
I didn't watch it, but I just no.
Listen, I'm going to make an announcement here.
You made it
on the Chris and Mike Show, episode number 29. Okay. Roadhouse is the best, worst movie in the history of the world ever, before, now, and forever. It is the best, worst movie ever. It just wins. On paper,
it epitomizes
that should be a shit movie, and nobody should have liked it.
Yep.
And when it got released, that's what happened. But it became a cult classic, and for good reason. It's just Patrick Swayze at one of his finest moments. If it was anybody but him, that movie would have sucked. And that's why I won't watch the next one, because technically on paper, it's a shitty movie.
Yeah. Right. It's like when they remade Red Dawn. You don't remake Red Dawn, and
no,
right. And the second Red Dawn fell. It just it failed miserably because you just don't make Red Dawn again.
You know why?
And think about the cast in Red Dawn, dude. That back then, why?
That's why. Because Red Dawn is another shitty movie, but it's got one of the best casts in the history of television or movies, not television.
Yeah.
You got Patrick Swayze and C. Thomas Howell.
I didn't think it was a shitty movie, though. I thought it was a great movie. Yep. So Howell, yep.
I thought it was a great movie, too, but the critics hated it, and it did not do well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But once again, it became a cult classic.
Well, that's back in the, right, but that's also back in the day where you had Roger, whatever the fuck. You didn't have
Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel.
The entire world, what was good.
Siskel and Ebert.
Siskel. It's Siskel and Ebert. That's what it was called. There you go. Thank you for that.
It scrambled my brain for a second.
They were the ones that would dictate what was good and bad, I did.
I was like, wait, that's his whole name.
Scrambling.
Roger Ebert.
Scramble the brain.
Who's the other guy?
Scramble the brain.
Gene Siskel.
Yeah. Well, he died, so then it was just. It's at the movies. That's what it was called. Siskel and Ebert at the movies.
Oh, see, I forgot that part.
I always thought that'd be a good
gig,
man, being a movie critic. Yeah.
I could never be a music critic because I like too much music. People would fire me.
But that's okay though.
I couldn't think of one bad song that I turn off the radio to put on your post the other day, and then I thought, well, that's because I literally never listened to the radio in at least the last 8 years. It's probably been longer than that. I just listen to my own playlist every day.
And I do too for the most part, but every now and then I'll go to the Sirius and just listen to that, and just because I get kind of you get kind of bored of my own, and I make new mixes all the time, but then my mixes don't really change because what I like is I like, even though I have so much music on there. Does that make sense?
Yes. I have to force myself to go listen to different stuff other than just my playlist, which has almost 20,000 songs in it. But every now and then, like, I get in a mood where I want to just hear Van Halen, or I just want to hear Metallica, or I just want to hear...
Yeah.
We'll throw the Oak Ridge Boys in there since I dissed them on an earlier podcast, and I actually like their band, so we'll say I listen to a little Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah, I did I don't have it on this on my phone. I just did a metal faves. I was going to read the songs, but it's in my truck, so I'm not going to grab
it. Most of my specialized playlists are CCR, Steve Miller, Black Crowes, Metallica, and Led Zeppelin related somehow, because those are all my go-to bands all the time, that no matter when they come on, it doesn't annoy me. You know, I got to have like emergency music where I know I'm not going to be annoyed by something.
Yeah, see, I do when I need that, you know, when you need that musical pickup, right? When you just need your mood to change because you just in a little bit of funk and you want to like get over that hump. Alter Bridge, like whatever it is, man. I put on One Day Remains or AB3, and by the time that I've done listening to that, it's fucking, I'm happy. I don't know what it is. Of all the music that I have and all the bands, for whatever reason, Alter Bridge just, and maybe because I've met them a couple times and I know they're just really cool, down to earth humans that aren't fucking rock star mentality and egos, and
that helps a lot.
Even though, you know, 3 of them came from right, and you know, I never met them during the Creed days, and the Creed days they could have been total pricks because
I doubt it.
You know, I think everybody goes through a prick stage. I think everybody goes through a prick stage a little bit because think about it, you're nobody. And then even though you work, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and all of a sudden in the world's mind, boom, you're somebody. You're everywhere. You're fucking, you can't go anywhere without being, you know, autographed and hounded and paparazzi and shit. So I don't think it's on purpose, but I think everybody has the prick moment in their lifetime when they reach that level because they it's human nature, right? You have to learn to adjust to that and how to live like that. And you're used to living in obscurity, and then all of a sudden you're everywhere and everybody wants a piece of you and everybody's coming at you from all different directions, and you know,
I would say
this and that and come and do this, come sign this, all that kind of jazz
at that level do go through that for sure.
Yeah,
because it is a rarity to hear a story like, if you hear people talk about Slash, they'll tell you that like he never went through that, because when he was at the height of his career, he was at the worst of his heroin addiction. Yeah. So he just basically wanted to be left alone. And when he got sober,
Slash,
yeah, at the height of his career, he was at the worst of his addiction. And when you're a heroin addict, you don't want to be hanging out with people. Yeah. So he was basically a recluse during that point where Axl was going crazy, which is why a lot of that shit went on. And when he got sober, Slash is, I've never heard a bad word about that guy. Everybody always said, you know, he just wants to play his guitar and he's cool to everybody. And
yeah, I've heard the same.
If you ask him to do it, I think that's actually more a rarity than what you just described. I would tend to agree with you that most people go through that part of fame where I'm the best, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody's got to bow down to me.
Yeah. And I think it's right. And I don't, you know, and I think the ones that have been at it for as long as people like Guns N' Roses, I think that it's not, you have enough people around you, I would think, that put you in check. Kind of like when I got on radio, when I sat down and met with iHeart's production manager and the guy that ran the station and then the guy that was helping me put it all together. The first thing I told him, like, if my head ever does not fit through the door, you're more than welcome to kick my ass. And they both just kind of, we were at lunch, right? And they both just kind of like, the conversation stopped and Steve looked at, I think his name was John, and looked at each other and they looked like, and Steve was like, "What'd you say?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm nothing. I'm a small little dude that has an opportunity to be on the radio and have a weekly show. So I'm not coming in here like I know anything about anything. You guys are the complete control behind this shit. And if I ever am that guy that my head can't fit through the door, you can kick my ass." And from that moment on, like, they fucking championed my show. They gave me more commercial spots than any other show. I had five segments of commercials, which was unheard of in an hour show. But it's because I didn't have the ego, and I wasn't, and even at the end of it, I wasn't like, whoa, you know, because it was a privilege. It was an honor to be on. I'm like, fucking on the radio. Not many people are on the radio and have their own show. Like, this is fucking badass. So, and so you just kind of, if you approach things in life, I think with that, like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I don't believe I get to do this, and I'm getting paid for this. This is outstanding.
For sure.
I think a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't know how to rap. And I had weird shit happen during that time on the radio. I had people follow me home. I had people, drive behind me after we leave the studio and, speed up by me, honk their horns and shit, trying to get me to roll my windows down. It's, it's weirdness because people are just weird, man. But you learn how to deal with that shit. And I unwrapped my truck because I'm like, well, fuck, if people are waiting, I'm just going to not have any advertising on my truck while I do this show because that's a little weird. Don't follow me home, but it's, when I had commercials on TV for real estate, man, I'd have all kinds of fucking people calling me, man. I'd get hit on over the phone. I'd get like, what, you want to buy a house or not? No, I just think you're cute. Yeah, no, thank you. Just weird shit, man. It's people's in. So that's a small little level, right? That's a small little level. So imagine that 100x because your album just broke, and you go to the store to get food and all of a sudden, hey man, I can't fathom how. I don't think anybody can react to that situation individually in a very calm manner. I think they have to adjust to it, and I think that goes around back to the people around you. Like you said,
Exactly.
Slash was an introvert because he was on heroin, but I think that if the core of the group, whether it's actors or bands, you have people that put you in check and keep you humble and keep you realizing this is not going to last forever.
And I think that's the one thing that we would have had going for us in spades is we were super tight as a group because we had to be. And there wasn't really, there wasn't that motivation from any of us that you were getting married. Scott was already married. Rick was married. And I did not get into playing.
I was already married. I was married. I was married when I was married when I was in the band. We were already married.
Okay. So all three of you guys were married, and I did not get in the band to fuck a bunch of chicks. That's just not. I got in the band to play really loud and hang with my buddies and talk music with other musicians and, play at levels that I didn't even dream possible. So that's why I did it. The chicks that would hit on me after the show, I actually would be offended. I just told this story the other day. Every one of them, I would tell the same thing. The only reason you like me is because you just saw me up there. Like, get lost, man. And be careful. How do you know I don't want to take you home and beat the shit out of you? You don't even know me. You only know me because I was right there. I was just 15 feet in front of you, and your vagina did things to you that made you think you want to have sex with me. You don't even know me. That's like, it's offensive in reverse, Well,
and the other thing too is like you could have been a serial killer, going from club to club, show to show.
I'm sure I said that a time or two too.
Plucking people out of the crowd. So see, that's the thing too. When I met Nikki, like I had stopped because I had shaved my head for the play, and so I legit stop looking because every chick that I was an Andalusian dog at the time. So every chick I would meet, it was right away because, you shave your head. Everybody was so fucking, I wasn't the stereotype of a white skinhead. I just shaved my head. Right.
But that was not socially acceptable.
Women were so shallow. Right. And so the chicks that I would meet, and they were at bars and stuff, concerts and shows and shit. But there was just, I was, you don't have hair type thing was the vibe I got, so they would talk to me to the point of, and then, try to take the next step. It's like, so I just fucking stopped. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to worry about chicks anymore. I'm just going to focus on this. And then, a year later, fucking just boom, there she was. And, 29 years later, here we sit. And guess what, boys and girls? She didn't care that I shaved my head.
Well, you always look cool. It worked, Yeah.
It works for me. Yeah, it does work. And now if hair would be weird, hair would just be, a weird thing.
thankfully, it became socially acceptable because I had hair down to my ass,
right?
and then it started to fall out, and it looked stupid. And I could either have a skullet or I could shave my head, and I chose to shave my head. So,
right. Was it really that long?
oh yeah. Yeah, after you left the band, I just left. I never cut it. I would trim like the ends of it and shit, but yeah, I just left it grow till it started falling out when I was about 32, 33, somewhere around there.
You think that had anything to do with the chemicals you put into your body?
I think it had a lot to do with the chemicals I put in my body, I'm sure.
Okay, well, no, because I'm just curious about that because I don't, we've talked in detail about what you went through, so I just meth is such a hard, under the kitchen counter type drug that I would just think that would have some type of effect on things like that, and among other things,
Yeah, it'll ruin your life, kids.
Personally. So here's an idea. Yeah, don't do drugs. And we're not saying that because
you got to define drugs.
Don't
do meth.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do heroin.
Well, don't do anything above marijuana. Do nothing above marijuana if you're going to, because marijuana is not a drug.
That's not true either.
It's a way to help people. So
send them out to the LD50 site and don't do any drugs that will kill you.
Okay.
If it doesn't have an LD50 level, it won't kill you. Mushrooms won't kill you.
Yeah. No. So, what music did serial killers listen to? The Night Stalker apparently loved heavy metal.
Damn right.
He listened to AC/DC, Judas Priest, and like Jeffrey Dahmer, Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
There's a blog that says that it's even speculated that some of Dahmer's killing methods were inspired by, not Dahmer, Richard Ramirez. Some of his killing methods were inspired by AC/DC's song "The Night Prowler." Remember when Ozzy? You remember this? When Ozzy got fucking lit up for Suicide Solution, and parents were using him as a scapegoat because their kid killed themselves because they listened to his song. It's like, okay, how fucking naive can you be?
Judas Priest too. Beyond the Realms of Death.
Which song for Judas Priest? I don't know. Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. It's off Stained Class. Yeah, they ended up same situation. I think theirs might have been before Ozzy.
Oh, no shit. Okay. So 7 serial killers and the songs they loved, okay? Because I'm on this tangent today. Charles Manson, and again, Charles Manson is not a serial killer. Charles Manson killed nobody. Nobody.
He did not kill
manipulated
anybody.
the minds of young impressionable women. Right. He manipulated the minds of young impressionable women and directed them to kill people, but he never once killed somebody. So I don't agree with they put him as a serial killer, because he wasn't. He was the mastermind behind a mass murderer. But he loved the Beatles. Helter Skelter, which everybody knows was his favorite thing. David Berkowitz, which was the son of Sam. Music he loved Hall & Oates. Which is why he liked targeting young women, because of the song "Rich Girl." Richard Ramirez, again, killed 15 people or more in California. He was AC/DC, and Judas Priest. It says the police found his favorite AC/DC hat behind at a crime scene. He was also famous for writing lyrics of the Judas Priest song "The Ripper" at the scene of one of his crimes. True to what you just said. Ted Bundy, what music? Where is it? I don't want to get all this stupid shit. That wasn't music, dumbass. He was documentaries and call-in shows and stuff. His favorite nights were the hunt to radio, the radio bands for talk shows and call-in programs and documentary-like things. So that's not music. Jeffrey Dahmer loved Black Sabbath, specifically Iron Man. He liked to get drunk, listen to Sabbath, and plot his killings. John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. REO Speedwagon. On death row, he said his favorite musicians were REO Speedwagon and Elton John. He also liked Bob Dylan, Neil Diamond, and Roy Orbison.
We had good taste in music.
And this is preferably not a feather in the cap for these legends. Right. Vicky Dawn Johnson, famous for the Angel of Death, she was known spent years quietly murdering people in the hospital. Oh, I forgot about her. For a year, she would inject her victims with a drug that paralyzed their respiratory system. She loved country songs from Texas.
Of course she did. That would make me want to kill myself.
Who had
country songs from Texas.
Right, yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Especially if they were westerns. I'm not a big western.
That's interesting.
Fan.
There you go. Right. So those are those 7 serial killers and their favorite songs they loved.
The Judas Priest deal.
Serial killers in music.
They were No, I think they were the first band to get sued. It was the whole album itself. What they were being sued for is the kids supposedly spent 6 hours drinking and smoking marijuana and listening to the metal band's Stained Class album, after which each man took a shotgun and shot himself. So the parents took them to court and sued CBS Records for $6.2 million because they claimed the band Judas Priest had hidden subliminal messages on their album that, I quote,
I remember that shit.
Try suicide. Do it. Let's be dead. In their cover of Spooky Tooth's Better By You, Better Than Me. That's what it was. I remember it now. That's the song. That's a great song, too. And I never shot myself with a shotgun. And I've probably listened to it 5,000 times in my life. They lost.
Fucking,
ladies and gentlemen, they lost because they were stupid.
Yeah. They all lost. Any lawsuit that's brought towards musicians and my kid's dead because of you. Bullshit. Your kid's dead because of some other reason.
Led Zeppelin got in trouble for that too, and Jimmy Page is on YouTube. He talks about it. There's a video you can search, and he says, I don't even know how you would do that or where I would start. I can make the tape go forwards. I'm not quite sure how you make it go backwards and record at the same time. You can rewind, but you can't play it backwards.
Well, and Ozzy, right. And Ozzy explained that in one of his many documentaries that I've watched over the years, rockumentaries, that he was just fucking with effects in the mixing of Suicide Solution.
Yeah.
So it wasn't blatant. That's the thing that those groups back in the 80s didn't like. These are human beings. Like Ozzy Osbourne, it's an act, people. He's not really the Prince of Darkness or the madness, all that shit. It's an act. It's just his persona on stage. The dude has children and fucking little ankle biter dogs and shit.
He's a goofball.
It blew my mind that all these people, total goofball.
Zakk Wylde is quoted
you want to talk
as
about
saying,
dirt poor.
It's like going to the circus every day, hanging out with them.
Yeah, because and it's and a testament too. Their kids were fucked up for a while, but their kids turned their shit around. Jack and Kelly are like normal functioning adults that actually are not just trust fund babies. They actually, participate in life and do things. I mean, they were both kind of fucked up for a while there, which rightfully so. Their father's doing every drug known to man, and all that kind of jazz. But it's it just blows my mind that people just judge.
Yes. And a lot of them call themselves Christians every day. Oh yeah. I'm a follower of Christ.
It was all. Yeah.
And then every next thing that comes out of their mouth is, oh, did you see so-and-so? Did you see what they were wearing? Mm-hmm. Did you see that car they're driving? Did you see that house they're living in?
Right.
All they do is talk shit about people all day long. Mm-hmm. And then they go to church on Sunday.
Yep.
Do you see why I had to figure out a different path in life real quick?
They can talk shit.
Like, that ain't going to work for me.
Oh, dude, believe me, I
don't want to just sit and talk shit about people all day long.
Because when I was young, I lived that shit. When I was in Young Life, as Young Life leader, that's a Christian-based program, and fucking I was blasphemed. I was fucking hated for leaving because I wanted to put a band together. This is before we connected, but God forbid, you can't do that. Well, why not? They just and then boom, as soon as I left, man, all those friendships I had ceased to exist. Even though I'd reach out, it just because I chose to go do what I always wanted to do, and because I did that, then I was not the good Christian anymore.
I just
going
tried
to hell
to
because I'm in a rock band.
Choose to be a better person every day, and try to be nice to people.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, my life started to turn around. It's like I didn't need a lot of anything else. I just knew that if I could be nice in situations where I normally am not nice, and that's what I challenge everybody to do when you're trying to change your life. It's not being nice when it's easy to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, the next time that you would normally blow up, find a reason to be nice. Find the positive and the silver lining in that cloud that your mother, if you were lucky enough to have a good mother, told you about. There's a silver lining in every cloud. Whatever the saying you want to use, the next time that you're about to blow up or you're pissed off because somebody cut in front of you in line, things that used to drive me nuts just do not bother me anymore because I practiced every day. I would pick one instance where I would normally go, hey, you fucking idiot. And I just chose not to say anything. Does it really matter? I'm
gonna try that. I'm gonna try that because there's still little things that fucking set me off. I'm gonna make a conscious effort this week between this podcast and the next one to those little things that piss me off to let them roll off my shoulder.
There's two things
because I have that, but a lot of it's because I'm
There's two things I really took to heart when I wanted to change because I went so far down not only the addiction path, I became a super negative person, man. Everything that came out of my mouth was not good. I was the polar opposite of who I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be any more. I was 180 degrees in the other direction. It was just fuck this, fuck that. Everything's wrong. I hate people. I hate life. I hate just what it was is I was at rock bottom, and that's where you get to. So when I chose to not only get clean, the next step was I have to figure out how to enjoy life again. And one of the things that I remember my Grammy telling me sitting around her kitchen table 100 times was you have to choose your battles. Is this one really worth it? She knew I had a horrible temper because my grandfather had a horrible temper. He learned to control it. But if you pissed him off, he was one of the most intimidating people you'd ever want to meet. So I had that inherently, and I still have it. That I always tell people the beast inside me is sleeping. He's not dead, so careful how far you push it. If I'm getting quiet, there's a reason that I'm quiet,
Yeah.
The other thing was when I was at my worst, Carrie and I were together, and she would constantly ask me, would it kill you to just be nice? And I'd be like, no, blah, blah, whatever. She'd say, no, stop. Just listen to what I'm saying. Would you physically die if you had to be nice to somebody right now? Would it kill you? Well, I pride myself on not being stupid. So I had to say no.
Right.
So I would hear my Grammy and I would hear her in the back of my head. And that's how I applied that to, I'm going to apply those situations to the hard parts of life. When I normally want to just rip somebody's fucking head off, and I won't feel guilty about it. I still won't to this day, It's a gift and a curse at the same time. I'm not going to lose sleep over letting somebody know they're a moron. But now it has to be super warranted. No, I save all that for people who truly deserve it. If I saw a guy, knock an old lady over, I'll fuck his world up. But
right. Yeah, agreed, 100%. My stuff's more the little nuances that somebody will cut in front of me, and then they slow down. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't cut in front of me and slow down. You want to get in front of me? That's fine.
That's going to drive me nuts too.
It's little shit like that drives me nuts.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're doing fine.
Those little things, but I'm going to use your approach and just see if I can kind of reel that shit back and just, and it's not a constant thing, because on a whole, I'm very up, I'm very positive on a whole,
you are,
with life in general, because, it's life's too short to fucking get off my lawn, except if you're my neighbor to the east. You know what that motherfucker did? This motherfucker, okay? So when the summer starts, I use my oscillating sprinkler, right? The sprinkler system that goes like this. Okay, the sprinkler system that goes like this, right? It's this forward and back, right? Not the spinny one. It goes like this. Okay?
I had those in my backyard.
So I bought some over the years, and so I have this one where the end of it has each end has 3 buttons you can push to say on or off. So it's either sprinkling like this or sprinkling like this, because you can adjust the radius. Right? I don't know if the radius is the right word, but
that was the right word.
So I put it on the side yard. Okay, cool. So I put it on the side yard, I turned on the sprinkler, and then I walk around the barbecue, the fireplace thing, and I stand to see how it's going and make sure it's not number one, flooding the fireplace area, which inevitably, if it's hitting the fireplace stuff, then it's hitting their property. So I let it go back and forth 2 or 3 times to see, okay, yep, all right, it's too much. Then I go back around, turn it down, come back around, because there's no rhyme or reason. You can't justify, half turn, 3/4 turn, what the sprinkler going to do with the water flow. You have to find the right spot and be done with it. So I'm fucking with it for like 2 minutes or so, because by the time I go back and adjust it and have to go back and look around, I got to see where it's going and see where it's landing, and then I adjust it. And then I touch the little buttons, turn these off, and then it's hitting the sweet spot. Dickhead that he is, sends me a text message. Understand, this is a guy who 2.5 months ago,
I don't like this guy, and I've never met him.
Hey, there's an active... No. So 2 months before, there was an active shooter in our neighborhood. It's a long story, but it was just one dude, domestic violence shit and whatever. So I had heard about it. So even though he's a dick and I don't talk to him, I text him, hey, just so you're aware, there's an active shooter in the neighborhood. You might want to keep your kids in the house. Odd response is thanks. And then about an hour later, I didn't realize that was a real thing. Thank you very much. Okay.
What the fuck?
Don't give a fuck about you, but kids are kids, okay?
Right.
Because he didn't believe me.
Yeah.
He didn't believe me.
That's
right?
why I'm
so
laughing.
He had to
That's
do
crazy.
his own research and realize, right. So he's a prick.
Yeah.
So by the time, and my phone's in the house because I was doing all kinds of shit outside. So by the time I go in the house, it's about a half an hour later. And I check my phone, because whenever I'm doing anything outside for a long period of time, I check my phone. Real estate, somebody calls me, texts me, whatever, right? So I pull it up, his text, and he basically tells me, hold on, I'll read it verbatim. Because this fucking guy.
This fucking guy. I love the passion and the hatred. Makes me feel better about myself.
Oh, it's just fucking ridiculous. Okay.
I know. I have those
March
feelings.
20th is when I tell him about March 20th. Yeah. So March 20th is when I tell him about the shooter thing. Okay. And then Saturday at 5:03 p.m. Once again, I use the sprinklers in the summer. So I haven't had the sprinklers on. Had the sprinklers on since last May. Your sprinkler is 6 feet into my property. Do I need to get you an owner's manual, or would it be better to have my attorney contact you? Really?
You got to be fucking kidding.
What I should have said, yes.
Over some water?
What I should have said is, yes, please. I should have said, yes, please. Have your attorney contact me, because it's going to cost you $1,000 for that motherfucker to call me. And when he calls me, I'm going to keep him on the phone for a long fucking time, because every minute he's on the phone with me, he's charging you. So Nikki and I banter back and forth
fucking
about
Bill
it.
Clinton. When I was a little boy in Arkansas, when he was testifying about the Monica Lewinsky bullshit.
Well,
he just started telling stories for like 3 hours.
Yep. So my response after talking to Nikki, and this is with the utmost sarcasm you can come to light with on a text. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Blank. I'm not going to drop his name here.
No.
I'll make sure and revisit my owner's manual to ensure it never happens again. His response, great, with an exclamation point. Thank you. So obviously within 20 minutes of that, I went back outside and to where his cameras can see me, and I flipped him off. Because, you know, his cameras can still see my backyard. There's 2 spots. Once my hop seed grows fully, then he'll never be able to see my backyard again.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Yep.
What is that water hitting in that 6 feet?
On his side of the yard, I don't know because we put the block wall up, but what was there before was a concrete pad where they were going to grow grapes. They can't grow grapes now because we put the block wall up and the grapes will get fried. So they have since stuck a Rubbermaid shed there, which according to our rules and restrictions, we don't have an HOA, but we have deed restrictions. You can't have anything on the fence. It's got to be 5 feet off the fence. So he's breaking the rules there. He's breaking the rules with having 3 goats, probably 40 chickens, 3 cows, and a peacock, from what we understand. On an acre or less, you're only allowed to have 4 horses, nothing else, which he knows I know because I pointed this out to him. And if we take him,
so then why would he fuck
this,
with you?
He will lose because the deed I have no idea. The deed restriction.
He doesn't understand who he's messing with.
Have this only.
Like, you're not fucking stupid.
I don't think so.
Jesus.
No, and the fact that if we take him to court, we will win because it's black and white, and he'll have to pay all the fees,
right,
and remove all his animals. Dude, just fucking shut up. So
so he's an idiot.
Was just fucking piece of shit. Right? It's maybe hated just his shit and his junk because he's one of those junky fuckers that hoards everything. So when the fence was just chain link, their backyard was just, you know, nasty and full of animal feces and shit because they don't clean up, which is what the root of the problem started, because we wanted to do something for little man. Like, hey, your corner smells like shit. Can you fix that? Oh, we'll get used to it. You live in a rural community. Fuck you. I don't live in a rural community. I live in a county island that was annexed by the city. So now it's a city. And
that was his
answer.
Across
the street, they're building 3,000 houses across that street. Yeah. That's what started the whole thing. Nikki wanted them to clean up their shit. And they were like, so it's fucking ridiculous, but that's where we stand now. So next time I water, you know, we're going to see what he does. And if he comes back with that, I'm be like, yeah, dude, have your attorney call me. I'd love to have a conversation with him. I would love it, because since they've lived there, they've trespassed. There was somebody in our neighborhood that posted something 2 days ago. They caught somebody on their cameras trespassing and stealing. They called the police, and the police arrested them for trespassing and stealing. Well, his wife and 2 neighbors across the street trespassed on my property, damaged my property because we had a feral cat trap in the addition garage before the garage door was there that I totally don't even remember setting in there and leaving wide open. There was no bait or anything. One of the neighbors' cats got in there. They heard it, so they decided it was on them to go into my property, go into my garage, free the cat, and throw the cage across the thing. I have it all on video. So I called the police, and the police took the report, and they never did anything because I would have known if they would have got arrested or something. But apparently now they're doing something to the other one. So I'm kind of thinking about just kind of poking the bear at the little email of the cop that came out like, hey, dude, why is this person getting arrested for trespassing and these 3 are not? Because they literally trespassed and damaged property, which is the same as trespassing and stealing.
Agreed.
So just ridiculous.
So the guy still got the camera pointed at your property?
Just, you know. Oh yeah. He's never changed it.
That's fucked up.
And we have hop seed growing, and it is. And we have another tree planted. We've planted 2 trees. And once the second tree gets to another, 2 feet tall, they won't be able to see shit, but it's the point, which is why I still go out there every day after getting to working out, strip my butt ass naked and wave. Hi. Which is probably why his wife continues to smile at me every time she drives by. You know?
I love that one, man. I've told that story 100 times.
Right? Yeah. Yep. It's, it's some funny shit, man.
Yeah, people
it all comes down to the fact that we want. Yeah, they are. He's an asshole. It all comes down to the fact we just wanted them to clean up their shit. Just clean up your shit so we can do something for little man. That's it.
Which is not that much to ask. It's advantageous to you as well.
No.
It save your health. It's on your property, right?
Yeah. Right. Just clean up your shit, man. And it was shit. It was the compost for the cows and the goats and the chickens. It was just shit. Like literally. They had, and it was, again, they still have a structure that's this far off the wall, maybe a foot, and you're supposed to be 5 feet. Like there's so many things we could just, but it's like, I don't care. Just fucking don't be a dick and be a human. Like I tell you, there's a fucking shooter in the neighborhood out of the goodness of my heart. Don't give a fuck about you, but your kids are kids. And instead of saying, hey man, can you adjust your sprinkler? Which the funny thing is, it was already adjusted. So he probably just walked out back, saw it hitting. And instead of just calling over the fence or shooting me a text, which I wouldn't have got because it was in the house. But if he would have stood there for 2 or 3 minutes, he would have realized that it kept getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Why? Because I was adjusting it. But he's just that. He's just that guy. They're all a bunch of fucking Karens and Skips. There's I like, on a whole, this is a cool neighborhood, but there's some people that are just fucking assholes, man, that have nothing better to do with their time than just
be offended,
be fucking bitter and pick and just talk shit. Yeah, like this one fucking dickhead. I was working from home. It was a nice part of the year. This was a couple months ago. The windows were open. I'm talking to a client on the phone, and dude's in front of the house, blazing on his horn. I look out the window like, what the fuck? He's talking to the neighbor across the street. A couple minutes later, still on the phone. And it rattled me. So I was like, hold on. Let me go see why this person's honking the horn. I'll call you right back. Go outside. I'm like, dude, why are you honking your horn? I'm trying to work. Oh, you're trying to work? I'm like, fuck you, dude. Stop it. People work. Right? And literally, what'd you say? And I just turned around and went in the house. Because what are you going to do? Like, you fucking come after me, dude? Come after me. Every fucking day for the next month, when he drove by the house, he'd honk his horn.
No.
Regardless of the time of day. So finally, yes, this is how juvenile this prick is.
What are we, 12?
So finally, he did it exactly. So finally, he did it to Skylar. Skylar was coming home or something, and he laid on the horn. So Skylar, being Skylar, Skylar's a badass. Let me tell you what. I've seen Skylar be a badass. She followed the motherfucker to his house, got out of the fucking vehicle, and laid into him. He called some bullshit out that was a fucking bold-faced lie. So Skylar put him in his place.
Good for her.
Like he was trying to tell her something that wasn't true. She's right. And she's like, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And by the way, my dad's not the asshole you think he is, nor the other people that are to the east of us think he is. You just don't know him. So mind yourself and stop it, or we're going to turn the videos into the police. Has not done shit since. In fact, he's driven by and did the backwards wave.
Like, my dad's cool as fuck.
Because
you're an asshole, and those people are assholes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you knew him, you guys might be friends, and then you could get the other asshole to change his ways.
Right. And he thinks that because he sided with me on the bullshit about the feral cats in the neighborhood, that we were friends. Like, dude, we're not friends. You're two-faced. You flat out said you don't like this person, this person, this person. But then I see you all the time talking to this person, this person, and this person. So you're two-faced. You talk shit behind each one of their backs. You're the neighborhood Karen, even though you're a guy. So it's just the problem is this neighborhood's been around since the 70s. So a lot of the people are original or second owners. And if they're second owners, you're talking they've been here since the 80s. And now around us, there's going to be about 6,000 tract homes being dropped. So they're not jiving with change, but you can't sell this house and go find something similar. So you either have to adapt and survive or get the fuck out. Well, instead of adapting and surviving, all they do is bitch and moan. They just complain because progress of all progress. God forbid there's progress. God forbid we have, an updated QT on a corner, which we don't, but we should, right? God forbid we have nice houses that surround us, which will help prevent a bunch of the dust that blows and all the fucking chaos that happens when monsoons and shit hit, because there's so many open areas and fields and shit. It's God forbid that they actually make a dedicated 13.10 mile trail run throughout these neighborhoods, which is part of the plan. Because, oh my God, you don't put speed humps in. You just can't drive, but we're going to drive fast anyway. We don't want speed humps because it fucks with horse trailers. Really? Yet there was somebody on our page a couple of days ago that she was bitching at the people that she almost hit because they're walking. Well, guess what? We don't have sidewalks. So when Nick and I do our thing, we leave the neighborhood because there's no sidewalks to walk on. But think about, like, so where are kids going to learn to ride bikes? On the street. So don't you think there should be speed humps? Oh, no. We can't have speed humps because it fucks with the horses and the horse trailers. Seriously?
Oh, jeez.
Seriously. That's the mindset. That's the mentality. God forbid you protect the kids and look out for the kids and make something in place so everybody's safe. No, you can't do that because it fucks with the horse trailers.
But it's that way everywhere, man. When I moved in here, the first time I met my neighbors, they made sure to let me know where the property line was. And you know better than anybody that I'm pretty quiet, so nobody ever sees me coming.
Mm-hmm.
And they walked me to the first property line, and it was an etched mark in my sidewalk. And then they walked me to the second property line, and it was an etched mark in my sidewalk. And they said, you know, we own this much of the sidewalk. And I was thinking, no, you don't, because I know more than they think I know. I'll explain why in a second. But
right.
I just looked at him without missing a beat, and I said, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. You're lucky I didn't own this property when you had it surveyed, because I would have sued you and your surveyor for criminal damage to property. Because you can't make a permanent mark in someone's concrete to mark a property line. And they did it twice.
No.
We've always had a very stellar relationship after that statement. It just went swimmingly after that. They liked me anyway. They found out I wasn't a dick. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't give a fuck where the property line is. I'm not going to fuck with you unless you fuck with me. And if you fuck with me, that's going to be real bad for you, because other than going to work, I don't have anything else to do. This podcast, wasn't doing that then. So I literally had nothing else to do at the time.
Right.
And so the reason that they own part of my property is when they laid this piece of property out, there was an alley here at one time, and everything was different. They never updated the plat map at the county records. Everything, the length and width on everybody's property is backwards. So I actually own part of the overhang of my sister's house next door. If you look at the plat map, they're right. They own part of my sidewalk, and I actually own part of my sister's house. If one of us would pay $1, we could have all that fixed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just have to contest it, right? And say that it's not right.
Yeah.
But as long as everybody's cool, who gives a shit? It's like 3 feet or something,
Exactly. Just be cool. So we're going to wrap this up on about anger songs, because we've talked about angry things today and serial killers.
I love a good serial killer episode, so that's all right.
I do. So this is, we could do that instead. Let's do that instead. Oh, I got a better idea. Top 10 serial.
Inspiration. That's what I offer, folks. Inspiration. Do you see how that happened? Just like that.
Top 10 serial
I changed his mind.
Movies. Okay.
I changed his mind.
You did. You totally changed my mind. There's holy shit. There's a lot of serial killer movies. Okay. Damn. Okay. You are very powerful, Mr. Michaels. So we're going to go with popular top picks about serial killers. So these are top movies that are about serial killers as the Google machine relates to it. And no specific order, because I'm just going to read from left to right. Okay. The Clove Hitch Killer.
I never saw that.
Clove Hitch Killer. No idea what it's about, but it's supposed to be good. Monster, which is what we talked about. Eileen Wuornos. That's her movie. That's the movie about her. Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. I think that is about Dahmer. That's about Dahmer. I watched that. That's a pretty decent movie. That was with was it Tate? I don't remember. The American Horror Story, they had that actor that played Tate that was fucking. If you ever watched American Horror Story, listeners, watch it, because every season is different. and for the first 5 years, the cast was the same, and because it was the same, they were the dynamic and the diversity of these actors. If you,
I'll blow your mind. My favorite season of American Horror Story is the Lady Gaga season. Mm-hmm. She was amazing.
That was good. Yeah,
I love that season.
She's fucking talented as all hell.
She's a great actress, man.
Yeah,
people don't
I like them all.
know that unless they watched it.
She is. No, people don't realize and that's the thing. That's why I loved music, right? Because music encapsulates the writing side of life, the acting side of life, and the music side of life. Because you're going on stage and you're performing in front of people, whether you're an actor or a singer, you're still on stage performing, and you're honing that craft. So it all just comes together. Silence of the Lambs, obviously.
Great.
I think that was loosely based on an actual thing. Not for sure. American Psycho, one of Jake's favorites.
I love that one too.
California with a
great movie,
Brad
dude.
Pitt and David Duchovny.
Yes.
Oh my God! Right? There's a fucking fantastic movie.
What was that? Late 80s, early 90s.
Love that.
Early 90s, maybe.
Yeah, it's 1993.
That's the year I moved to Arizona. That was a good year.
For sure. There you go. Zodiac, about the Zodiac killer.
That was a good one.
7. Brad Pitt and
love 7. Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. Yep. 7. Yep. Saw. I
love
think
the
Saw
first
based on a Psycho, but right. Yeah, the first one was outstanding because you didn't know what to fucking expect, right? And then everything else has changed. The Killer, it's on a Netflix movie, 2023. I haven't seen that one. I'm going to look that one up. The House Jack Built. That's a really good one.
Fucking right it is.
Is it Matt Damon in that? Fuck, dude, that's a good fucking movie.
You know what I would like the people at home listening to realize right now? Is 2 of the least violent people in the world are having this conversation right now.
In the world, right?
We mean no one, no harm ever for any reason. And both of us are giddy like we just saw fucking Christmas morning because we get to talk about serial killer movies.
Right.
I love it.
Right. Frozen Ground. Nicolas Cage and John Cusack. That was a good one. The Good Nurse. The Good Nurse was the one about the nurse that was killing people in the hospitals.
Angel of Death.
We watched that not too long ago. That was in 2023 on Netflix. Yeah, they call it The Good Nurse, but that's the story of that person. The Boston Strangler has a 2023 movie on Hulu. That's a new one.
I'll have to watch that one.
There's Someone Inside Your House. That sounds freaky.
Yeah, haven't seen it. Sounds good.
Yeah. What else we got here that stands out? Son of Sam, if you've never seen that, that's interesting. It's an older movie, so it doesn't have the dynamic you would have in today's world, with today's technology and shit.
Who's the one they never caught?
Girl with the
Zodiac
Dragon
Killer?
Tattoo, that's a fucking good movie. I think so. I'm not positive, but I think so. I think you may be right there.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was a great movie.
That's a great fucking movie.
Loved it.
Yeah. From Hell, that's a good flick. Johnny Depp.
Yep.
Good movie.
I've seen all Johnny Depp movies. He's a great actor.
Yeah. Natural Born Killers, man. One of my all-time favorite spoofs on serial killers. Oh, fucking A, man.
Love me
this
some
is
Woody.
Why helicopters are not deployed. It's a great fucking movie, man. He's just, that's one of those movies. If it's on tomorrow, I could watch it and enjoy it.
100%.
Devil Rejects, good fucking twisted movie. Devil Rejects.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a bunch of serial killer movies you can go watch, boys and girls. All right, we're gonna cut this short because I'm gonna explode. My bladder's going to explode. So, boys and girls, be safe out there. You're not alone. Tomorrow's always a better day. Right? This is the Chris and Mike Show. We love you for tuning in and putting up with our nonsense.
Absolutely.
And if you didn't notice, for those that you can't hear, you can't see, but I have a stationary mic now that, so I can just be hands-free all the time.
We didn't give you a complex.
Until next week, my friend. No, we didn't. I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you, Tony, for the advice. I'm stationary. I got to get to SM57, then we'll be good. I got to pee. So, boys and girls, we'll see you later. Love you,
All
brother.
right, brother.
Have a great day.
Love you too, man. You too. Peace. Peace and love to everybody.
Out. Yep. Cool.